We'll figure it out. Welcome in. We are fired up and ready to go. It's always a little bit better when you don't give up a 19-point fourth quarter lead. In this time, an entirely different ball game. Welcome in, both sides of the ball. Joe C. from XL Primetime. To my left, I got Coach Mark Duffner. He is a longtime defensive guy, coaching linebackers here and many other stops in the NFL and the college game. And then Super Bowl winning running backs coach Jerald Ingram. He is to my right, and of course also coaching here in Duval back in the day under TC. I see smiles on both y'all's faces, so that's got to be good. Coach Ingram, as we start this bad boy off, it was honestly a great display of physical toughness, particularly from the line of scrimmage, the run game, and that's your expertise. So I figured we would start there.
Well, I mean, it's a great job by the coach and the coaching staff to get this team ready, basically to handle their business. And they said they're going to be physical, and this was a game of physical dominance up front, offense and defense from the beginning to the end. Yeah. So the offensive line did a great job of paving the way for the running backs. Both running backs played well. The quarterback played his best, probably. I mean, everything starts up front, and then it's going to end up front, and that's basically how it was. And it was good to see the leadership and what they're able to get done, and some creativity of play calling by the head coach.
Yeah, it feels like leadership really came through this week, Coach Mark Duffner, because I think players got called out. Question of toughness, question of commitment, all that type of stuff. Anyway, both sides of the ball, it looked damn good.
Oh my gosh, you talk about a magnificent response to a very tough situation a week ago. What they did in that building across the board, I don't know if I've ever seen a bounce back as dominant as they put on the football field for 60 minutes. And that was a key to finish the game. And did they finish it? My God, I mean, it was just, I don't know if I've ever seen a more dominant game offensively and defensively against a hell of a good team. A team that was coming in riding high right now, that was highly ranked in all areas, offense and defense, and they dominated them start to finish. So as already been mentioned, tremendous effort by the leadership, by the coaching staff, to get that team to play at that level. And they now have shown that that's a team they can and are, because they did do it. That wasn't talk. They've got the challenge will be now to continue that. But boy, to have that in their pockets right now with that kind of production was superb.
And this wasn't a bad football team. Like we watched last night, Monday Night Football, the Las Vegas Raiders are lost right now, okay? They might as well be the lost Vegas Raiders. That's what they look like. But as you just said, Duff, this is a good football team, even though they were dealing with a couple of injuries, that they came in. Harbaugh got them to the postseason last year. This team was rocking and rolling, a chance to stay within a game of the Denver Broncos if they win this football game. All right, so both of you guys are good to ask, and any of our Duvalers that are watching the stream, if you can think of a more thorough and complete victory in the regular season, then go ahead and throw it on the comments. You can jump in the chat wherever you are watching us. But both of you guys have coached in that building. Coach Ingram, other than 62-7, we know what that was in the postseason. But a regular season game with this type of just thorough start to finish, both sides of the ball victory.
I mean, it's a coach's dream. It's a fan's dream to have such a perfect game. It was a clean game. We hadn't even addressed the penalties and the things and the miscues and all of those things that we kept saying each week was going to get corrected and not be corrected. And it doesn't get any better than this. It actually looks like it finally got addressed for 1 week. Everything is based on consistency, but it's a start to what he has been preaching on. playing tough physical up front, and we're going to be as good as our defensive line, our offensive line, and our physical toughness and our mental focus. And you couldn't have asked a better situation for a coach, to have that kind of game and a response from an ass chewing that many of us coaches have already been through.
Yeah.
To understand and see it happen like this.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% correct. You talk about the good Lord coming down and making it happen. I mean, I can't find error. I mean, we had one penalty as Jerald just talked about in the course of the game. And again, just dominance on the line of scrimmage, which can, again, against a team that was as hot arguably as anybody in the NFL. A quarterback that was playing at an elite level has 81 yards passing. Are you kidding me? I mean, you talk about the challenge that the front line did on both sides, running the ball. We controlled the ball. We controlled the clock. How about the third quarter? Dominance, like I've never seen. Dominate as far as the offense, holding on to the football and moving the ball. Trevor playing great. And then harassing the quarterback as they did with both four-man rush and a little bit step up in pressure. I mean, it was just, I'm sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. This was tremendous.
Yeah. And Justin Herbert, it's not like he was playing at an MVP level, but he certainly was operating, confident, taking off with the ball, running, obviously delivering to all of his weapons, be it Ladd, Johnson, Aronde, any of those guys. And then they even were able to kind of rally in the run game after losing two of their guys. And so it's impressive. And Coach Ingram, I would always say that the Harbaughs of the world, they always come in prepared. They want to out-prepare you. They want to make sure that they have the game plan to win. And for Liam Cohen and company to do that to Jimmy Harbaugh, that's impressive.
It was. I thought they went through a shock period.
Mm-hmm.
And, they have injuries, we have injuries, but I don't think their defense thought that our offensive line was going to attack them like that. I think they went through a period of shock and couldn't bounce back, and Jim gave in. He got his quarterback out of there. Now, there was discussion, in halftime a little bit that, there might have been a problem situation with the quarterback, but he knew he couldn't get his defense. They kind of gave in. They caved in.
They got 30. They got 35 yards and 2 first downs in the second half, and we beat them at their own game. Beat them at their own game. The way that they like to play the game, we put that in motion and dominated. And you got to use the word domination in this now. I mean, that's exactly what was put out there. I mean, when you look at what plays were made, guys stepping up, making plays consistent. We didn't punt the ball one time. I mean, I can't think of a time when I can't. I think the Commanders last year, early in the season, when they had the quarterback and they got out, they had a couple games maybe where they didn't punt. But I can't remember being really involved in a game where there was never a punt, by your team. So, I mean, just dominant play.
Yeah, I'm almost positive the way Jaden Daniels came out of the box hot as a rookie quarterback, they went basically something in the neighborhood of 6-7 quarters without punting the football, that they would score almost on every drive. It was incredible. All right, so when we think about things that did happen, and let's stay on the defensive stuff just for 1 second here, because you needed to take advantage of missing pieces like Joe Alt, like Rashawn Slater. Slater had been gone the entire year, Alt with the ankle surgery, now out for the last couple of weeks. You had to take advantage of it. Josh Hines-Allen, it's not like there was a bunch of finger pointing, but he had not been dominant off the edge, getting the quarterback the way he needed to. Both he, Trayvon, and heck, the rest of the guys up front, the BJ Greens of the world, they did work.
Yeah, they without a doubt. No, they took the outside noise maybe to heart. And certainly put that into motion. I mean, again, the pressure that he was under, you watched it during the course of the game. I mean, he was harassed and pressured probably as much as ever, as far as that's concerned in terms of what I saw. And I mean, just affected the quarterback in a very, very big way. He'd had passes batted before. Josh Hines-Allen got a batted pass in the game too. So, I mean, I think they answered the bell. The coverage was excellent during the game. The interception that Antonio got and the big return. I mean, how great was that? And then what does our offense do? They score a touchdown when they took advantage of sudden change. So you talk about clicking on all cylinders. I mean, fast, physical, aggressive play. I mean, couldn't have been better.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about the calls of the offense, but there were some pretty good calls out there made by the defense. And I thought some of the schemes and the pressures got there. Gerdak had a good day. I mean, they got good balance from both sides, which really makes a difference. We've seen, if it's only one side of the defense is doing well and the other side doesn't bring the pressure to them. I thought, with having Walker out there and how they use Gerdak and, they had even distributed, pressure up front so they could play some different coverages. There were some good calls out there offensively and defensively.
Yeah. And just to kind of stay on that theme right there, the secondary obviously prospered when there was pressure on the quarterback because there hasn't been enough of that.
Yeah, no, this tape will be a great teaching tape for a long time on both sides of the ball to demonstrate what it looks like when you're executing on all cylinders, I mean, and they've done it. This is who you are, and I heard Coach talk a little bit about that yesterday. This is who we are. Now we got to make this. It felt pretty good. We kind of like it. It's kind of like having one piece of pizza. You want to have another one. Let's have more of this type of play. Let's put this out there all the time. Both play callers, Liam and Anthony, you talk about being on it right now. I mean, geez, Pete, I don't know that they'll call a better game ever. Again, I mean, how about the fake, I call it the fake double screen wide delay that they hit Munt with? I mean, a tough play to defend for years, but he pulled that sucker out, and then the fake flip to Patrick play pass. I mean, you talk about timely and dead on. Jeez, I mean, as I said, I wasn't so sure the good Lord wasn't on both sides calling down there. Those guys did great.
And Coach Ingram, whenever you do have options in your play call sheet, because it would drive me crazy that they would try and just stuff it up the middle when they didn't have necessarily the physical blocking up front that they needed to be able to stuff it up front. But that fake toss to ETN and then right over the top to Patrick, thing of beauty.
Yeah, everything stems from the run game. And being able to attack people and run the ball, you're allowed to get to those next plays. So that's complementary football at its finest, and that made him be able to be more confident about making calls. So hopefully he learned from this as well.
I think that the real strong theme in this thing, they won the early downs. When you look at the sheet, when you look at 1st and 10 for both sides, offense and defense, we won those downs consistently, early downs, and then they could open up things and they could, be aggressive with later calls and manageable downs. So, I mean, it was a clinic as far as that's concerned. Winning the early downs, winning the manageable downs, and then I was so pleased they answered the call in terms of winning the fourth quarter. We get the ball in 4 minutes with 5 minutes to go, and Quinn Allen just runs it down there till runs the clock out. Just how you draw it up. The running backs, both of them over 70 yards, 5 yards a carry at least in the first half, and then defensively being able to again dominate the second half like they did. I mean, they won the fourth quarter running away. So the 60 minutes, the finish, all the challenges they hadn't approached and won the week before, they did in dominant fashion.
Yeah, and there was almost a 2-to-1 time of possession for the Jaguars.
Yes.
And owning the clock, we know how important it is. You play with the lead, you know how important it is, because then your pass rushers can have more of a green light. And the fact that Coach Ingram, they ran for 192 yards, and it was a lot of feature for Bashal Tootin as much as it was for ETN, and LeQuint got involved. Anyway, it was a thing of beauty watching them basically operate, knowing they could run the ball.
And watching these guys come out, Cleveland made a difference. I mean, him and Haynes there were guys finishing blocks downfield. And that's just putting a dagger in that defensive, that defensive front and linebacker area. We broke their will, and they were shocked. They got hit in the mouth. Everybody's got a plan until you got hit in the mouth, and we didn't stop.
They got drilled in the mouth. Let me say, I'm with you on that. It was the lowest time of possession they've had all year. I mean, like Coach said, I think they kind of did wave the white flag. There's no question about it. Our offensive line, this group had about 29 sacks coming into the game. No sacks. I think we allowed maybe 7 pressures in the course of the game. So you talk about protection, you talk about opening holes in the run game, you talk about dominant play at the line of scrimmage on both sides. Put on this tape. My God, it was tremendous.
Yeah, and they had basically two and a half times more sacks than Jacksonville did coming into this game, like you're saying, Coach Duff. And then, Jerald, go back to that idea of that line blocking. Did you see anything different? Did you see something new from what they decided to do, or they just committed to doing it in a more physical way?
I think they just committed to doing it the simple way, and people, they got away from their technique. They ran the zone scheme, and it's a simple scheme. Denver Broncos run it for years. We ran it for years. You run front side zone, maybe outside or inside, and you bring a rimmer. So it's still zone. If you have 2 tight ends, whoever's responsible for the backside edge blocks backside edge. Sometimes you'll ghost it by running a reverse guy around the backside edge, and you fake the reverse, and now that loosens the backside edge. You're still running the same play. So there were ramifications here and there, but they ran this earlier in the year. Remember the one that Strange came backside and hit the backside end? It was zone, and it forced the cutback. We ran it one time. All 3 linebackers against San Francisco chased the guy running rim. Running back kept front side. He said, hey, all these linebackers, they're overcoaching the linebackers. So that play is an option run read front side to back side. So they really didn't do an awful lot different. What they did do it different was the quarterback run at the end. They hadn't shown that at the goal line. So that was good to see. The play action pass was good to see.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen a hole that big for anybody wearing a teal and black to run through, Coach Duff.
You're absolutely right. What I saw a very confident football team. And what I think the coaching staff did a great job is, I'm guessing that they pared down what they were doing. They looked at they continued to evaluate our schemes on both sides of the ball, pared it down. So this team put confidence into action. In other words, they knew who to block. The running backs had great vision to play off the blocks, to run like they did. The routes were clean. The quarterback, used the wristband for the first time, but part of that was for tempo. Part of that was for maybe special play, but he played better, more confident. And you saw it on the defensive side. I understood that they kind of took the defense down to the studs and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it simpler so we can play faster. And that's certainly fast, physical, and aggressive is what you saw on the field.
Gosh, man, I will take that all day. Just because you dumb it down is not even the right term, but you simplify it. If you can execute on a regular basis, do it. Do the same thing. And then, like we said, pass rushing, you have to have a handful of moves, but you make sure you affect the quarterback. And then on the back end, all of a sudden, the Buster Browns, even you can think of the guys that were able to get in there and make plays this go around, the Christian Braswells, who haven't been called up very often. That was a nice little treat. I want to ask both of you guys this, because this is what we said on XL Primetime yesterday. I call him Jimmy Gladstones because he's shown some stones. But what he has done is he said he was going to raise the floor of this roster. And when you have Strigo, you have BJ Green, Braswell, on and on and on. Go to what you said, Coach Ingram, earlier. The fact that Ezra played his ass off. So did Cole Van Lannon. You had 2 guys, one coming back from injury, another guy inserted into this lineup, taken up for Anton Harrison. Anyway, the bottom of this roster, and you guys know what it's like to coach a full roster and find a little bit more out of these guys. That was impressive.
Well, I think we go back to the leadership, because there were a lot of players that stepped up, when they got that opportunity, and that doesn't always happen. And that didn't happen the week before, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen consistently in the Raiders game as well. So, people listen to how that voice came across. We don't know totally how it came across, but
Right.
I think everybody probably took a little bit of ass chewing and accountability and saying, hey, even our top players probably took a little ass chewing. The players said, oh, they're human too.
Mhm.
So, and everybody said, do I really want to be here next year? Because the front office is going to do whatever it takes now to go from a playoff team to try and win a Super Bowl, be a Super Bowl team. And you have to be aggressive in doing so. It's not personal, it's business. So once the players understand how this is business, plus, you embarrassed yourself you didn't just lose a game, you gave a game away
Right.
the week before. And that was embarrassing on any account. So it was good to see. They needed it.
Yeah.
And again, we're coming off of losing 3 out of 4 and possibly 4 out of 4, as far as that's concerned. So for them to make that turnaround, I listened and saw Tony Baselli, saw Gladstone in the building. I saw confidence from those guys last week in the way they carried themselves and the message that I know that they were promoting in the building. So, I mean, again, everybody bought in, and that's not always easy to do when you're kind of teetering as we were at that point. I mean, again, kudos to everybody. And another thing about adding to the roster and raising the bar, how about Jacoby Myers? I mean, they bring him in, and the play he's brought, the confidence and plays he's made, he was a key component on long yardage downs when we didn't have a lot of them, but when we did have them, Trevor went to him, and this guy makes the plays. I mean, I think he had 5 catches in the game, and maybe missed one, maybe, but I mean, again, excellent selection of players, the right kind of guys to come in and uplift the personality and the mood of this team.
Yeah.
He made
It's
that
funny.
receiver room look better right now.
Oh gosh.
Just like when we brought Carnell Lake in here, he made the secondary group better because just professionalism of where they have come from, their pedigree, where they come from.
No doubt.
I'm just looking for these numbers here real quick. If you think about it, it was 64 yards on 5 grabs for Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Tim Patrick is in the end zone and producing points for this football team. Antonio Johnson was a backup safety before injuries took Eric Murray and these other guys away, and he makes a big play. And then as Coach Duff, as you said it earlier, they score off of that. So that's complementary football. And we just mentioned Cole Van Lanen. You can throw Chuma Doga in there. And these are the guys that when you deal with injuries and you can account for the loss with a good replacement, then you're going to be in this position. And that's what they did.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, Joe, how about Strigo and Green? Guys that have come in and, the end of the roster type guys, but were factors in pressuring the quarterback. Strigo, a number of times. Green makes him. I thought he got robbed on the penalty that he got. Yeah. But I mean, heck, this was when the game was still, relatively close. And geez, well, Pete, these guys rose up and made plays. So, like you said, numerous contributors, and boy, when you've got that makes that team and that coaching staff feel a lot better.
Hell yeah. Let's go back to one thing, and I believe both of you guys, I don't know if it was the exact same opinion, but we all collectively said, hey, 16's got to play better. He's got to quit either costing you a game or he has to be the instrument that helps you win a game. Well, he threw one bad pick. It was a terrible throw. I joked that he put it on the numbers. It was the defensive backs numbers that he put it on.
He did.
He did. But he came out of this with that idea that, again, what a coach did, he encouraged him, let it rip. If you see it, make the throw. So Coach Ingram just kind of grade Trevor, again, with a complimentary run game that certainly made him better.
Well, I think this is by far his best game. It may not have started off perfectly. He overshot the tight end on one. Mm-hmm. He had the interception, but he locked in that third quarter. And, from then on, he showed who he should be and who he is. But we all know, he's good for one. The thing that you give credit to is the defense, and the offense now just said, hey, we just move on. That's just part of the game, and if we play better, he will play better. If we don't play better, it's not going to be a good day for him. So it's a team thing, and it's, we needed this game at the right time right now because in our division, we have a lesser schedule, though no schedule is less.
Right.
But, the wear and tear that the Colts have to go through compared to what we have to go to, that's on us.
Right.
That's how we
100%.
mentally prepare right now, for playing 3 West Coast games. I've been there before. We've won them. People want to say it's hard. Yeah, it is hard. But if you prepare mentally through the week on handling your own business and play a clean game, a physical game, you should be in position to be in position.
Yeah, they're 3-0 against the AFC West, which I don't think too many people would have imagined. And they got a chance to be 3-0, kicking it out to the West Coast, 2 in the desert, 1 in San Fran, if they win this Sunday. So, Coach Duff, chime in real quick on Trevor before we talk that week.
I'm with you. I thought this was his best game. I thought he played confidently really throughout the game. I didn't see the panic or the nervousness that sometimes he displays. He was confident across the board. And I think the let it rip concept, whatever that was not just words. It was the development of the game plan, what his role was going to be in the game plan, that he didn't have to put it all on his back, that everything wasn't on him, that play within the system, play within the scheme right now, just do your job. Everybody else will support it. And they did it marvelously. So I think he came out of this game, maybe more than any certainly more than any I've seen, way better moving forward than otherwise. I mean, he played a solid darn game, and I'm happy for the young man. And I know that's going to be a really critical component for us moving forward.
Yeah, I hope he sees it, the productivity that the entire offense, he can wrap his arms around that and become that leader that Liam wants him to be, a good decision maker and a playmaker. That's for sure. All right, let's end on this. If the season ended today, you've heard this so many times, the Jaguars would be in the postseason. And so right now it looks pretty good. They have a tiebreaker on the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see what happens with the LA Chargers. But right now, if the season ended today, the Chargers would be the 6th seed. Jacksonville would be the 7th seed. Anyway, Coach Ingram, let's just finish with this one thought. You don't talk about it, do you, in those rooms? Or do you just say, hey, next game, that's it, period?
Well, you just talk about the next game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, we're still weeks to get to that point where you, as a coach, want to talk about it or address it. We got to handle this game one game at a time, show who we are, play clean ball, play physical ball, and just show people we can't be consistent right now. So we got to do it back to back.
Coach Dubb?
100% what back and what Coach just said there. You talk about, sometimes people talk about the season in quarters. It used to be 16 games, now it's 17, but you divide it up in those, where we are in the second quarter, where are we in the third quarter right now, and not get too forward thinking with your vision. And then going out to the West Coast, I mean, our guys have done it twice already, I think, and been successful. And so that's not an issue right now. We've done it. We know how to do it. The staff's done a great job of preparing it. We're going to do it 2 more times. We're going to go out there this week, and we're going to go out there and when we beat Denver too. So, everything is in line right now. Just keep your focus where it is. Realize what you've done up to this point. Take advantage of the pluses. Let's work on the things we need to, and let's focus in on playing our very best, putting another consistent 60-minute effort against the Cardinals.
Yeah, that'll be big. It really will. All right, fellas, great job as always, both sides of the ball. Mark Duffner, Jerald Ingram. Coach Ingram, we will see you on XL Primetime in the 1 o'clock hour a little bit later on today. So all of Duval that gets to tune in and watch, we appreciate it for sure. If you catch us live or catch us a little bit later on. Thanks to Ozzy. Always good job producing
the best.
Both sides of the ball. Coaches, thank you guys very much. And we will talk to y'all next week.
Go Jags.
Thank you.